Hello my students. Um, Hope this video will help you a lot in your study. Um, Today I am going to discuss one of the first chapter of your book, The Fun They Had, which is written by Isaac Asimov. This is the story about a girl who is 11 years old, whose name is Maggie, and her friend Tommy, right? So, and it's a kind of a story which is written in a dialogue form, right? And you would find out that the main discussion on this particular dialogue conversation is nothing but means the present with the future, right? So, or you talk about that the future with the past also, like you can point out, means um, the story is taking us towards the 156 years ahead, or you can say that 156 50 years ahead, right? So, where we are in a kind of a era 20th century or 21st century, so 2020, whereas if you look into the 2157 years, it means somehow called as 156 or 7 years ahead, right? So that's the thought the author has pointed here. uh, the story is set in the future, right, not in the present situation. So where the author is trying to discuss when books and schools as we now know them will perhaps not exist. So it means the author is pointing that what if you go to the 160 years ahead, you may not find out the books that we are using and the kind of a school which we are means functioning and where we are studying, right? तो अगर देखा जाए ये पूरा का पूरा स्टोरी किसके ऊपर बेस्ड है, मीन्स फ्यूचर के ऊपर बेस्ड है. सो यू वुड फाइंड आउट द टाइटल द फन they had. It's clearly indicating nothing but the kind of amusement, the kind of enjoyment, the kind of learning that the students 150 years before are getting, and the fun that the kind of the same kind of fun whether the means students of 150 years ahead are getting or not, right? जो जो खुशी जो एक्सपीरियंस 150 साल पहले के स्टूडेंट को मिल रहा था, वही सेम काइंड ऑफ मीन्स एक्सपीरियंस 150 इयर्स के बाद बच्चों को मिलता है कि नहीं, उसी के ऊपर ये स्टोरी है. सो इसीलिए आइजैक एसिमोव हैज पॉइंटेड दैट द स्टोरी इज सेट फॉर द फ्यूचर, वेयर वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट द काइंड ऑफ schools, the kind of books we are using it, so whether those of the things will be exist in the future or not. So how will children study then, right? So the author has used some of the means some of the process through which children of 2157 years ahead means are learning. Like you can say that they may go through the computers, they may use the virtual classrooms, they may use the robotic teachers, and they also use the e-text. So these are the four things. So if you talk about learning through computers, that also today we are using, right? We are using the computers, we are using also virtual classroom. But the only thing is called as a robotic teacher. So that also probably in the next couple of years we will get into it. So but what do you find out? The students are not experiencing same kind of a thing. That the kind of experience they means get when they go to school, they read the books, they understand themselves, right? So and they mixed with the kind of students. So उसी के बेस पे ये पूरा का पूरा स्टोरी बनाया गया है. Let's go to the text of the story. What do we find out? The author started the story by introducing Margie, right? So Margie is nothing but an 11 years old girl, so who is writing means a diary. It is in a night time. So and it was the time of 2157 May 17, right? So when she means wrote a diary, right? So and she started writing by saying that what that day she met Tommy, right? And she pointed also Tummy found a real book. Now अगर इस पैराग्राफ को देखा जाए, so यहाँ पे real book का मतलब जो मार्जी ने point out किया है कि Tummy found a real book. So what do you mean by real book? The kind of a real book which we are using, right? It's considering as a real book, means it's made of print paper, right? Where the words are still, where the sentences are still, where you will find out couple of topics, a couple of chapters are given, and that you read, right? They are considering as a real book, right? So and when you when you read the whole book, right? Now means after that you may not use it further, but the kind of learning means what Margie and Tummy were doing in the year of 2157 was something different from the real book. So they were doing nothing but the e-learning, e-books, computer means computer learning, robotic teachers, right, virtual classrooms. So those are the things they might be using. That is the reason means Margie was surprised by stating that means he found a real book, or called as a Tummy found a real book. So that's what the first paragraph presented. It was a very old book. Which one was a very old book? That the Tummy who found, right? So means it was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather, right? So you can say that the second paragraph is indicating about Margie's experience. So Margie, who was 11 years old, and she stated that how her grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, means her grandfather was a little boy, and her grandfather's grandfather, right? Her grandfather's grandfather was telling that what? Now there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. So it means Margie's grandfather's grandfather, right, told her or told told Margie's grandfather that what? There was a time when all stories were printed on paper. It means obviously means Margie's grandfather's grandfather time, right? Stories were printed on means a paper. So they turned the pages. So how that's why it is called as a real book, right? So they turned the pages which were yellowish in color, crinkly. Crinkly means those of the books which have many of the folds or lines. So it was powerful or looking means terrible, funny to read words, because those of the words were completely stood still. So पूरे के पूरे जो words and sentences है जहाँ थे वहीं पे ही रहते होंगे, right? They were not moving like the words and sentences which were moving in present means present e-books and computer means computer books. So that's why means that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. And then when they turned back to the page before, right, जब वो रियल बुक को जाते हैं, सो रियल बुक पढ़ने के बाद अगर बुक पहले पेज को फिर से आते हैं, so they find out, so the sentences are there where it was present, right? It had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. So Tommy said, "Gee, what a waste." So the kind of means contradiction that you find out here. So Tommy, who agreed with Margie that what? Now yes, means reading the content from the means real book was nothing but a waste. Why waste? No, because after reading the whole book, what you are going to do with the book, right? So that's why it is called a waste, because you are going to throw it. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. So obviously आपको उसको फेंकना पड़ेगा. I guess our television screen must have had a million books on it, and it is good for plenty more. I would not throw it away. तो means टमी के हिसाब से means कंप्यूटर में बहुत सारे बुक्स होते हैं, millions of books आते हैं, right? Obviously computers में बहुत सारे बुक्स आप रख सकते हो means e-books के हिसाब से, और जिसको आप कभी भी चाहो तो आप ओपन करके पढ़ भी सकते हो, एंड उसको आपको फेंकना भी नहीं पड़ेगा. बट इन रियल बुक व्हाट हैपेंड मीन्स आपको एक स्टोरी के ऊपर लिखा गया होगा और वो स्टोरी प्रिंटेड होगा, और जिसको आपको पढ़ने के बाद उसका आपको हो सकता है कोई यूज ना हो. Same with mine. Margie also agrees with Tummy. So Margie said she was 11 and had not seen as many textbooks as Tummy had. He was 13, right? So Tummy was 13 years old and Margie was 11 years old, right? And Margie said that what the amount of book which she hold in her means computers was as equal as Tummy had, right? सो टमी के पास जितना सारा बुक है मीन्स मार्जी के पास भी उतना ही बुक है. सो लेकिन वो सारे बुक्स कंप्यूटर्स में है. सो शी सेड वेयर डिड यू फाइंड इट. सो मार्जी यहाँ पे पूछ रही है टमी को कि वो जो रियल बुक उसको कहाँ पे मिला और कहाँ से मिला. सो मीन्स Tummy stated here that in his house he pointed without looking because he was busy reading. And he stated that he got that book, he got that real book where in the attic. So as he was busy, he just simply pointed in the attic. So attic का मतलब क्या होता है ना, attic का मतलब होता है कि एक स्टोर रूम और एक रूम और एक पर्टिकुलर रूम जहाँ पे आप सारे के सारे पुराने चीज रखते हो, राइट, उसको आप attic कह सकते हो. So what's it about? मीन्स स्कूल. सो वो बुक किसके ऊपर लिखा गया है. जब मार्जी ने फिर से पूछा तो यहाँ पे मीन्स टमी ने कहा ये बुक पूरा का पूरा स्कूल के ऊपर लिखा गया है. सो इट वाज समथिंग लाइक अ मीन्स यूजलेस, वर्थलेस और कॉल्ड जो वैल्यूलेस और कॉल्ड जो क्रिएटिंग अनॉयंस और गुस्सा, राइट, जो कि मार्जी के फेस में दिखाई दे रहा था. क्या ये बुक स्कूल के ऊपर लिखा गया है. Now, what is there to write about school? So school के ऊपर क्या लिखा गया होगा, right? So means मार्जी यहाँ पे ये इसीलिए कह रही है क्योंकि वो बहुत मात्रा में स्कूल को मीन्स हेट करती है. क्यों, right? Now Margie stated that Margie always hated school, but now she hated more than ever. So पहले तो वो मीन्स हेट करती थी स्कूल को, लेकिन कुछ दिनों से बहुत ही हेट कर रही है स्कूल को. और भी क्यों ना, क्योंकि द मैकेनिकल टीचर हैड बीन गिविंग हर टेस्ट आफ्टर टेस्ट इन ज्योग्राफी एंड शी हैड बीन डूइंग ओर्स एंड ओर्स until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the country inspector. सो यहाँ पे अगर आप देखा जाए कि मार्जी मीन्स ज्योग्राफी सेक्शन में बहुत ही खराब कर रही है, राइट, क्योंकि उसका जो मैकेनिकल टीचर, सो यहाँ पे जो मैकेनिकल टीचर ये एक रोबोट टीचर है, राइट. सो जो कि मीन्स मार्जी को पढ़ा रहा है. और इस पर्टिकुलर मीन्स सेक्शन में आपको ये मिलेगा कि किस हिसाब से रोबोटिक टीचर मार्जी को पढ़ा रहा है और वो मीन्स क्या कर रहा है, वो एक टीचर की तरह ही उसको टास्क दे रहा है, टेस्ट भी दे रहा है. और मीन्स जिसकी वजह से मार्जी का जो ज्योग्राफी टेस्ट बहुत ही खराब हो रहा है, राइट. सो लेकिन मीन्स कुछ दिनों से ये सारा प्रॉब्लम ढल गया है क्योंकि मीन्स कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर आने की वजह से. सो कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर, हु इज द कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर? ना, कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर इज नथिंग बट अ मीन्स अ राउंड लिटिल मैन with a red face and a whole box of tools with the dials and wires. So you would find out a person who actually repaired the machine. So Robert टीचर का यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना, टेस्ट आफ्टर टेस्ट मार्जी को देने से मार्जी का जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो बहुत डिटीरियोरेट हो रहा है, या तो बहुत ही खराब हो रहा है, जिसकी वजह से और इट occurred until, right, means Margie's mother interfered and Margie's mother called for means country inspector. So मार्जी की मदर ने यहाँ पे country inspector को बुलाया क्योंकि means यहाँ पे जो रॉबर्ट टीचर है, राइट, रॉबर्ट टीचर और मैकेनिकल टीचर है, उसमें कुछ खराबियां हैं जिसकी वजह से मीन्स मार्जी के मीन्स सब्जेक्ट में खराब परफॉर्मेंस हो रहा है, राइट. सो उसी हिसाब से he was and the country inspector, how the author has been discussed about the country inspector. The author stated that the country inspector was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools, right, with dials and wires. So means वो अपने साथ बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, बहुत सारे डायल्स एंड वायर्स अपने साथ लाया है. वो एक बहुत मोटा सा मीन्स रेड फेस आदमी है, राइट. सो और वो जब भी आता है, राइट, सो ही स्माइल्ड एट मार्जी एंड गेव हर एन एप्पल, राइट. सो वो जब मार्जी के घर आता है तो वो मार्जी को एक एप्पल देता है, right? Then took the teacher apart. Then means he opened or separated the machines, the robot teacher, right? And Margie had hoped he would not know how to put it together again. So Margie यहाँ पे भगवान को ये भी बोल रहा है और रिक्वेस्ट भी कर रहा है कि हे भगवान, means this man must not put together all the machines, right? तो ये जो कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर ये तो रॉबर्ट टीचर को ओपन कर दिया है, सेपरेटेड कर दिया है, उसको रिपेयर तो कर रहा है, लेकिन उसको वो ठीक से लगा ना पाए, राइट? सो जैसा खराब हुआ है वैसा ही खराब हो और मीन्स कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर मीन्स वो रॉबर्ट टीचर को अपने साथ ले जाए, राइट? सो मार्जी हैड होप्ड he would not know how to put it together again, but he knew how, all right, right? And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. So, but what happened? Finally, the country inspector repaired the means robotic machine, right, or mechanical teacher, and put it before the Margie. And the robotic teacher, which was looking large, black and ugly, right? So with a big screen on which all the lessons were again shown and the questions were again asked to Margie, right? So that was not so bad. The part Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers, right? So most was the slot. So उस रोबोटिक मशीन में बहुत सारे पार्ट हैं जहाँ पे मीन्स मार्जी को बहुत सारे टेस्ट पेपर्स और होमवर्क्स मीन्स डालना पड़ता था. सो ऑब्वियसली जैसे कि हम टीचर के हिसाब से आपको होम टास्क देते हैं और आप हमको मीन्स वो होम टास्क करके दिखाते हो, उस हिसाब से रोबोटिक मशीन भी क्या करता है, बहुत सारे टेस्ट लेता है, बहुत सारे होमवर्क भी देता है मीन्स मार्जी को, जिसकी वजह से मार्जी को बहुत सारे होमवर्क, बहुत सारे टेस्ट करके फिर से सबमिट करना पड़ता है रोबोटिक मशीन्स को, राइट? शी ऑलवेज हैड टू राइट देम आउट इन अ पंच कोड. They made her learn when she was 6 years old, right? So she always had to write them out in a punch code. So from 6 years onwards, right? So Margie had been doing a lot of tasks for this robotic machine, right? And the mechanical teacher as well as Margie had to also give many of the texts, right? And the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. So mechanical teacher बहुत जल्दी calculate करके present करता है, right? The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. So country inspector उसको repair करने के बाद, right? So Margie के head को pat करता है, जैसे कि means with smile, right? He said to her mother, even the country inspector Margie की mother को ये कहता है कि it is not the little girl's fault. So ये जो सारा मिस्टेक हुआ है इसमें मार्जी का कोई हाथ नहीं है और मार्जी का कोई प्रॉब्लम फॉल्ट ही नहीं है. It's not the little girl's fault, right? Mr. Jones, I think Mrs. Jones, I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. तो यहाँ पे देखा जा रहा है कि कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर मीन्स सपोर्ट कर रहा है किसको, मीन्स मार्जी को, एंड बोल रहा है कि मार्जी का जो परफॉर्मेंस डिटीरियोरेट हो रहा है, राइट, वो किसके वजह से हो रहा है, ना रोबोटिक मशीन की वजह से हो रहा है, रोबोटिक टीचर की वजह से हो रहा है या मशीन टीचर की वजह से हो रहा है, क्योंकि मशीन टीचर्स मीन्स खराब, मैकेनिकल टीचर्स खराब हो जाने की वजह से क्या हो रहा है ना, मीन्स मैकेनिकल टीचर्स गिव्स such kind of a text which were nothing but considering as a little advance, geared a little, right, advance, test after test, so which was nothing but little advance, and that makes Margie means difficult to understand. So those things happen sometimes, right, because it is a machine. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level, right? So country inspector also stated that उसने उसको रिपेयर किया है और उसका जो लेवल 10 साल का करवा दिया है मीन्स रोबोटिक मशीन का. Actually the overall pattern of our progress is quite satisfactory. So even means यहाँ पे जो कंट्री इंस्पेक्टर है वो मार्जी का जो मीन्स स्टैंडर्ड सेटिस्फैक्ट्री ही बताया है कि मार्जी जो भी कर रही है अच्छा भी कर रही है, अच्छा पढ़ाई कर रही है. एंड ही पैटेड मार्जी's हेड अगेन. सो मार्जी को फिर से शाबाशी देके जाता है. मार्जी was disappointed, लेकिन मार्जी यहाँ पे खुश नहीं है. Why? ना she had been hoping, she had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether, right? So उसके दिमाग में ये थी कि वो she had been hoping they would take the teacher away, right? मतलब उसके दिमाग में ये थी कि जो कंटेंट इंस्पेक्टर वो उस रोबोटिक टीचर को अपने साथ ले जाते तो अच्छा होता, right? They had once taken Tammy's teacher away for nearly a month, so means वो ये सोच रही है कि किस हिसाब से मीन्स टमी का जो हिस्ट्री टीचर था उसको कैसे 1 महीने के लिए लिया गया था, राइट? क्यों? क्योंकि द हिस्ट्री सेक्टर हैड ब्लैंक्ड आउट, द हिस्ट्री सेक्टर हैड ब्लैंक्ड आउट, द हिस्ट्री सेक्टर पूरा का पूरा ब्लैंक हो गया था, जिसके वजह से मीन्स हिस्ट्री टीचर को और रोबोटिक टीचर को पूरा ले गए थे मीन्स 1 महीने के लिए. सो शी सेड टू टमी, so उन्होंने means Margie here said to Tammy, why would anyone write about school? So immediately come back to the topic means about school. So इससे पहले जो डिस्कस हुआ था that clearly describing that how means Margie was hating too much to the school, right? So she said to Tammy, so Margie यहाँ पे Tammy को बोलती है कि why would anyone write about school? So means कोई क्यों स्कूल के बारे में यहाँ पे लिखेगा, right? Real book में. Now Tammy looked at her with very superior eyes. So because it's not our kind of school, so Tammy यहाँ पे point out करता है कि real means real book के बारे में क्यों लिखा जा रहा है, right? Tammy with the impressive manner also stating that what कि means कि कोई क्यों स्कूल के बारे में लिख रहा है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि हमारा स्कूल और उस टाइम में जो स्कूल था वो स्कूल completely different था, right? So because it's not our kind of a schools. So टमी यहाँ पे बोल रहा है कि means स्कूल के बारे में इसीलिए लिखा गया है क्योंकि उस टाइम पे जो स्कूल था वो हमारे स्कूल जैसा नहीं था, stupid, right? This is the old kind of a school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So यहाँ पे डिफाइन किया जा रहा है कि वो स्कूल इतना अच्छा क्यों था, क्योंकि means they are old kind of a schools and जो कि बहुत साल पुराना था, 100 साल पुराना था, right? And he added loftily, means again in an impressive manner stated that means centuries ago, right? Margie was hurt, Margie was a little bit depressed or called as means feeling sad, right? Well, I don't know what kind of a school they had all that time ago, right? So उसको कैसे पता नहीं है कि means इतने साल पुराना, right? और इतना साल पहले इस टाइप का स्कूल था, right? So she read the book over its shoulder for a while. कुछ समय तक वो उस real book को पढ़ने लगी and then said, anyway, they had a teacher. So means जो भी हो, लेकिन उस टाइम पे भी उनके पास भी टीचर थे, right? So means sure they had a teacher, but it was not a regular teacher. It was a man. Now look into it. Tammy replied कि हाँ उनके पास टीचर थे, लेकिन उनके पास जो टीचर थे, right? So वो टीचर means लाइफ थे, मैन थे, राइट? सो यहाँ पे रेगुलर टीचर का मतलब क्या होता है? रेगुलर हियर रेफरिंग टू नथिंग बट व्हाट, नॉर्मल ऑफ द यूजुअल काइंड, राइट? यूजुअल काइंड मींस sure they had a teacher but it was not a regular teacher. They were not like our teacher, regular teacher जैसे नहीं थे, जैसे robotic teacher, right? Mechanical teacher जैसे नहीं थे. So they were like a man. A man, how could a man be teacher? So again immediately means Margie surprised and stated, how could a man be a teacher? So well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. So Tammy replied, Tammy justified that तो उस हिसाब से ये जो टीचर थे वो बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स को अपना टास्क देते थे और होमवर्क देते थे, उनको क्वेश्चंस पूछते थे जैसे हमारे रोबोटिक टीचर्स करते हैं. A man is not smart enough. So मार्जी के दिमाग में ये है कि एक आदमी उतना स्मार्ट नहीं हो सकता है जितना स्मार्ट उनका रोबोटिक टीचर से. लेकिन Tammy was justifying that sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher, right? He knows almost as much I betcha, right? He knows almost as much I betcha. So means I'm sure. So means Tammy replied that I'm sure means my father knows almost as much that the robot teacher. Margie was not prepared to dispute that. Margie was not means inviting any kind of a disturbances or contradiction. So she said, I would not want a strange man in my house to teach me. सो मीन्स मार्जी का और भी एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू था कि वो कोई भी मीन्स ह्यूमन बीइंग को अलाउ नहीं करना चाहता है, या तो मीन्स शी डजंट वांट a strange man, unknown person to come into her house and to teach her. Then he shouted with laughter and stated, "You don't know much, Margie. The teachers did not live in the house." So again, means Tammy was trying to eradicate the assumption. So उसके दिमाग में जो means जो रॉन्ग थॉट्स थे उसको निकालने के लिए टमी ने ये कहा कि ये जो टीचर्स हैं वो घर जाके पढ़ाते नहीं थे, मीन्स दे आर द टीचर्स मीन्स who did not live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. So उनके के लिए एक स्पेशल बिल्डिंग होता था जहाँ पे बच्चे जाते थे, एंड ऑल द किड्स लर्न द सेम थिंग, और सारे के सारे बच्चे सेम ही चीज पढ़ते थे. श्योर इफ दे वर द सेम एज, अगर उनका सेम एज होता है तो वो सारे के सारे बच्चे सेम ही चीज पढ़ते थे. बट माई मदर सेज अ टीचर हैज टू बी एडजस्टेड टू फिट द माइंड ऑफ ईच बॉय एंड girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. So again Maggie said that what उसके मम्मी कैसे बोल रहे थे कि टीचर को कैसा होना चाहिए, मीन्स एक स्टूडेंट के हिसाब से मीन्स उसको पढ़ाना चाहिए. just the same they did not do it that way then, right? So just the same they did not do it that way then. If you do not like it, you do not have to read the book. So means मार्जी भी बहुत सारे कंट्राडिक्शन यहाँ पे पॉइंट आउट किए और बोले कि उस टाइम पे ऐसा नहीं होता होगा, राइट? सो इफ यू डू नॉट लाइक इट यू डोंट हैव टू रीड द बुक, राइट? आई डिड नॉट से आई डिड नॉट लाइक इट, मार्जी सेड क्विकली. सो टमी सेड दैट अगर आप तुमको ये सारी चीजें अच्छा नहीं लगता है तो आप ये बुक मत पढ़ो. लेकिन मार्जी सेड दैट शी डिड नॉट से दैट शी डिड नॉट लाइक द बुक. She wanted to read about those funny schools. So schools के बारे में वो जानना भी चाहती है. They were not even half finished when Margie's mother called. So Margie's mother यहाँ पे उसको कॉल की, right? Margie तुम्हारी स्कूल है, right? So Margie की यहाँ पे स्कूल मीन्स स्कूल टाइम हो गया, इसके वजह से Margie के मदर ने उसको बुलाया. So Margie looked up, not yet mama. So Margie यहाँ पे अपने मम्मा को बोल रही है कि नहीं उतना टाइम नहीं हुआ है. Now Mrs. Jones said, and it is probably time for Tammy too. So Tammy and Margie का टाइम हो गया स्कूल के लिए, इसके वजह से Mrs. Jones means called them to go for the school. Margie said to Tammy, "Can I read the book some more with you after school?" So means स्कूल के बाद right वो उस बुक को ले सकती है पढ़ने के लिए. So maybe he said nonchalantly, right? So means without means having interest और इंथुजियाज्म मीन्स टमी यहाँ पे बोल रही है, मतलब झिझक से, राइट? झिझकते हुए मीन्स टमी यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा है मीन्स मार्जी को बोल रही है कि वो चाहे तो बुक को ले सकती है, राइट? सो मार्जी सेड टू टमी, "Can I read the book some more with you after school?" Maybe he said nonchalantly. Nonchalantly is called as without showing much interest. So not interested to give the book, but anyhow as a friend means he's possibly gave her. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm, right? अपने बुक को अपने means आर्म के बीच में लगाते हुए बोले कि गई. Margie went into the school room. It was right next to her bedroom, right? So where the Margie's school means Margie's school was next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher, which was a robot teacher, was on and waiting for her. So Margie के जो robot teacher है उसको wait कर रहे हैं कहाँ पे ना उसके bedroom के पास में. It was always on. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. So you would find out that कि Saturday and Sunday को छोड़ के बाकी सारे दिन उसके क्लास होते थे. Because her mother said little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours. So मीन्स अगर बच्चे ठीक टाइम पे पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक मीन्स ठीक टाइम पे और अच्छी चीज पढ़ रहे हैं तो उनका अच्छा they can also understand everything means in a better manner. The screen was lit up and it said, "Today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fraction. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot." So ये जो एडवाइस कहाँ से मिल रहा था मीन्स रोबोटिक टीचर से. तो मीन्स उस दिन का उनका पहला चैप्टर क्या था, फ्रैक्शन के ऊपर था, राइट। और वो रोबोटिक टीचर उसने ये भी सजेस्ट किया कि मीन्स कल का जो पुराना होमवर्क था उसको स्लॉट में डालने के लिए, किसको, मार्जी को, राइट। सो